Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Dude, the channel where we analyze stocks and cryptocurrencies. But lately we have been analyzing a bit more stocks that have had some interesting movements. So today we are going to check NAKD, Naked Brand Group Limited, which has been quite in the news on forums and on all different supports that we can read as news information. So let's do a quick in-depth analysis of what has happened during the past week on NAKD, because a lot of things have happened. So let's start at around the 23rd of January, where it was last Saturday, I would say, but let's say around 25th for Monday. So we see that around the end of the week, the stock was kind of sleeping, and that usually is kind of a good sign, because when a stock sleeps and goes down slightly, it's usually meaning that a lot of big buyers are trying to buy, but without showing that they're buying. So they're making us believe that the stock is about to crash down, and instead they're actually buying slowly in order to get a low price on the stock. So at that point we saw that once it crossed that orange line here, and those lines come from quite far. Actually, I have to show you where it comes from. So I need to go back on the 4 hours chart and unzoom a bit so that you guys can understand where does that come from. So each time there has been a kind of hit this week. That's actually not really the best. Let's go on 1 hour chart. No, let's go on a day chart. Yeah, it's a bit better like that. So each time there has been a hit this week on the 1 minute chart, I put a green line that followed some patterns. And then I went back in history and I suddenly saw that. And that is kind of showing me that, okay, there's those lines that I draw this week are hitting points that were back in August, September, October, November, and December. So this has been building up since a while now already. So that top line right now, which is my further, the one that hit the highest at, wait, I need to get like that. Yeah, you'll get it better. The one that hit almost at the highest, because I didn't go further there, that would, actually we could do it together. Let's do it together and clone, this line here. It's going to appear, oh no, it's here already. So let's duplicate this line and come and stick it here. Then let's duplicate it a second time and come and hit it at the top part here. And now let's go and see what happens if we follow those lines back in the past. Ooh, that's pretty interesting. You see that we're following that path here, and then we're hitting points that are kind of points where I call it turnaround points. Like this point here, if we circle it here and we zoom out a bit, is technically the point where it stopped going down and it started going back up. If we hit this point here, it's also the point where we thought it was going to go back up, and it actually went down to hit, sorry about that, as usual. And then when it hit this point here, it was a bit the same. We thought it was going to go back up, and then it kept going down. And it did this quite a lot of times until it reached that final point where I have those two crossed lines here. And that's interesting because they're lines I've placed in the middle of those other lines. So maybe I should put that line here in a purple, because these are the critical, what I call the critical lines, the ones that are not parallel to the other ones. So these are the lines where it could bounce off and go in, it's haywire from there. So at that point, here is the critical point where it stopped going down. And that's interesting because these lines, as you can see, I drew them. You can see those points. Those are the points where I draw the line. So I drew them between the 18th of December and the 12th of January. So when we date back, they cross here at this critical point here. And that's where things have started to go up for NAKD from that point. So if we zoom out now even more, and then we go on a week view, we switch back on auto, and we resume a bit into all this. What does it give us as a kind of prevision? So we're kind of, let me auto up. So we went up to here around 3.3 on this week. Now we're back down here at around 1.6. So we're hitting that line, then we're hitting back. So we hit around, yeah, that kind of line. It wasn't far, but let's say it could be that hit. And then we're coming back to hit that line here. So let's see where that line that we're going to switch into yellow for the purpose of watching where it goes. Where does that line go back in time? What do we have? Sorry about the time it takes to go back, because at some point, sometimes you need to just keep going on, and once you reach and not lose it, let's unzoom and go a bit faster. Let's go back on auto, because sometimes you get completely lost in your lines, as you can see. So that, voila, that yellow line here comes and cut a kind of, I don't know, that could be a little W here, I would say, that is showing us already, hey, guys, look, something's getting ready. And then I do believe I want to do another clone of this line that I hadn't seen here. And I'm going to come and put it on here. And as you can see, each time that line, that the spike here, is related to that previous point here. So if we from there extend and look for these points, sorry, I have to duplicate it again, but sometimes with the recording it lags a little bit. So if we put that line and then we go and look for another one of these, like, you know, those lines where it just drops, and where is the next one? It looks like here, as you can see, there's a sudden drop. So if we now go and look for that top line I just put here, and we kind of try and get the chart to go where we want it, we can estimate that one of the targets, yeah, that's what I believe also, could be around, the next target could be around 7.2. Now it could also, as you can see here, this figure here looks a lot like this figure here, although there's a difference. You guys can see it here. That didn't build volume. That did build volume. and things are different in 2021 that they have been in whole 2020. So, guys, I give you the choice. You are the judge here, and you are the ones. Don't forget, I'm not a professional advisor, so please don't take my advice as a professional advice. I am just a simple dude that's trying to draw lines on charts and look in the past and see what happened at that point. And let's just do it for the fun of it. Extend it to that top drop here. And this time I'm going to put it up here on the spike and see what would be the next step after 7.2 if we break that. Let's say if we break 7.526 next week, the next step would be 13, as fast as it kind of dropped from 13. Let's say, well, where's the 13? 13 is here. Yeah, so you see from here, that point here to here, it was very, 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 very fast. So you be the judges, guys. Don't forget that we are not here to advise you. Things are moving. We don't know if it's going to move up or down. It's still the big guess. Big players are going to show us that next week. And stay tuned. So don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, because that really helps us to continue doing those videos for you and analyzing charts. So today was a kind of macro analysis chart and not on the minute chart. So you see there's that cross here that I expect around August this year something to happen, maybe a kind of sudden drop at that point, but it's always looking for the crosses. You see here we get a 3-line cross, and that also something happened here on that yellow line. So you see that yellow line is connected to those 3 crosses here with the moving average, and then now that moving average is actually showing us, hey, I'm tired of being down there. I want to be back maybe here on that cross. Or maybe I want to go back down during or further below, because that could be a possibility. You see, that's the lowest point here at 0.05. Or you can't actually go further lower. Sorry, guys, I didn't see that was the 0 here. So the 0 is the 0. I mean, you can't go in minus at that point. So how to make earnings on this stock could go back to 0.052. So be careful, guys. Invest safely and stay tuned for our next videos.